Good afternoon and welcome to WEFM's Midday News, brought to you with the kind compliments of Court St. Vincent Limited.
Whatever you plan to do, make it unforgettable with a loan of up to $20,000 from Quartz Ready Cash and pay nothing down till February 2023. Visit your nearest Quartz or Quartz Ready Cash now or apply online at readyfinancecaribbean.com. Benefit from hassle-free service, flexible payment terms, and 24-hour approval. All you need to apply is your ID, proof of address, payslip, references, and a job letter. Make your celebration better than good. Do something great this season. With a loan from Quartz Ready Cash, we are ready when you are.
Welcome back to WEFM's Midday News, brought to you with the kind compliments of Court St. Vincent Limited. I am your presenter, Rajiv Providence. First, on the local scene, the St. Vincent Electricity Services VINLEC donated $20,000 to this year's Nine Mornings festivities. VINLEC joined the list of sponsors this year, including the Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Flow, among others. Speaking at the launch on Sunday at Heritage Square, Chairman of the Nine Mornings Committee, Bumani Charles, said the committee has received immense support, financial and technical, from a number of organizations for which they are grateful. Minister of Tourism, Sustainable Development and Culture, Carlos James, said community participation is an integral part of Nine Mornings and Vincentians should strive to keep the culture of Nine Mornings alive among the young people. James noted that the Nine Mornings Festival is an avenue for bringing people together regardless of differences. Consequently, the festival will be temporarily named the Nine Mornings Village going forward. The Nine Mornings Festival begins on December 16th and runs to the 24th under the theme Celebrating a Vincentian Unique Tradition. Police have arrested and charged 34-year-old Garnet Thomas of Chauncey with the offenses of wounding and robbery stemming from an incident that occurred at Halifax Street, Kingstown, around 3 a.m. on September 8, 2022. He was arrested on Sunday, December 4th. Thomas will appear at the Serious Offences Court to answer the charges. Meanwhile, police arrested and charged Simeon Wilson, 34-year-old laborer of Vermont, with unlawful possession of ammunition. Wilson is accused of having in his possession 3 rounds of 9mm ammunition without a license issued under the Firearm Act. The incident occurred at 3:45 p.m. on December 1st in Vermont. The 34-year-old laborer will appear at the Serious Offences Court to answer the charge. Still on the local scene, the Embassy of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, through the Venezuelan Institute for Culture and Cooperation, Hugo Chavez Frias, IVCC, has successfully concluded the 4th edition of the Venezuelan Film Festival, See What We Are, that took place from November 28th to December 1st, 2022, in different schools of the Vincentian nation, with the objective of bringing Venezuelan film culture under the modality of itinerant cinema. The academic coordinator of the IVCC, Adriana Bermudez de Lorenzo, highlighted the importance of the 4th edition of this festival, which is being held free of charge for 4 consecutive years and in an itinerant format, with the objective of sensitizing Vincentian students on the socio-historical, political, and cultural processes that have shaped Afro-Latin American and Caribbean identities, with emphasis on Venezuelan identity. The head of the Venezuelan diplomatic mission in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Francisco Perez Santana, explained in a dynamic way to the students part of the history of the African and indigenous roots that form the Venezuelan and Vincentian culture, detailing the colonization process, the struggle of the indigenous peoples against Spanish rule, as well as the independence deed, with the aim of creating historical awareness in the young Vincentians and, in turn, strengthen the ties that unite the peoples of Venezuela and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. On to news in the region. Jamaica's Ministry of Education and Youth says a pilot project for the use of solar energy in 30 schools should be launched in the first quarter of next year. Portfolio Minister Favour Williams says solar systems will reduce the costs associated with cooling classrooms. The project, expected to reduce the electricity cost to public schools by 40 to 70%, is estimated to cost the government $120 million. Mrs. Williams said the success of the pilot in realizing significant savings will determine whether the government will implement the program across all schools. At the same time, Jamaica's education minister said has been made on the project to equip schools with broadband internet, with 554 institutions in Jamaica contracted for service, of which 377 already have access to adequate broadband connectivity. She said the ministry will continue to procure connectivity for other institutions. Minister Williams provided an update on the projects during a recent function. The citizens of the Commonwealth of Dominica are voting today in their island's general election. A total of 43 candidates have registered to compete across the 21 constituencies. The Dominica Labour Party, the DLP, already has a 6-seat lead in the National Assembly. The DLP, Team Unity Dominica, and a slew of independent candidates are competing in the snap election. The DLP's main rivals, the United Workers' Party, the UWP, and the Dominica Freedom Party, have boycotted the election, as they believe the current electoral process gives Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt an unfair advantage. Polls are set to close at 5 p.m. And on the international scene, Indonesia's parliament has approved a new criminal code that bans anyone in the country from having extramarital sex and restricts political freedoms. Sex outside of marriage will carry a jail term of up to 1 year under the new laws, which take effect in 3 years. The raft of changes comes after a rise in religious conservatism in the Muslim majority country. Critics see the new laws as a disaster for human rights and a potential blow to tourism and investment. Several groups of mainly young people protested against the legislation outside Parliament in Jakarta this week. It is expected the new laws will be challenged in court. They apply equally to locals and to foreigners living in Indonesia or visiting holiday destinations such as Bali. Under the laws, unmarried couples caught having sex can be jailed for up to a year. And finally, in sports, England has sacked Eddie Jones, leaving the team without a head coach 9 months before the Rugby World Cup. Forwards coach Richard Cockerill will take over the running of the team on an interim basis. Jones departs after a dismal year of results with only 5 wins from 12 tests in 2022. The 62-year-old won 3 Six Nation titles in his 7 years in charge and led the team to the 2019 World Cup final, which they lost to South Africa. Jones's sacking follows a review into England's disappointing autumn campaign, which saw 1 win from 4 matches. This has been WEFM's Midday News. I have been your presenter, Rajiv Providence. Join us again at 3 p.m. for WEFM's 3 p.m. News. WEFM's Midday News is brought to you with the kind compliments of Court St. Vincent Limited.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, and you can find the season's best at Courts. Save up to 50% store-wide, plus get free gifts with select purchases. Get the best brands, best prices, and more. Shop today with no cash and have 90 days to make your first payment and choose your payment term from 3 to 48 months. The season's best is at Courts, bringing value home. Special conditions apply. Offer ends December 31st, 2000.